Hi, my name is Brianna Lawrence. I attend Tarleton State University where I am in my senior capstone class. Here is my presentation, my poster presentation for my research class. Um, my topic was young mothers have a greater chance of developing postpartum depression. We'll start off with a few points in my introduction. Postpartum depression is an extremely common form of depression for mothers following the birth of a child. There are constant changes happening chemically in your body that contribute to a mother experiencing postpartum depression. Postpartum patients undergo extreme mood swings, and some of those mood swings are anxiety, sadness, and irritation, and the list really just goes on. Postpartum depression is generally more common in younger women than in those who decide to give birth to children after starting their careers. Um, for my methods section, I had originally intended on having about 50% participants, but I actually was able to get a lot more than that. I had approximately about 80 women participate in this research study. There were a total of 40 women who had given birth to their children between the ages of 15 and 25, and I also had about 40 women who gave birth at the age of 25 or even older than 25. My participants took place in a 10 question survey, and the survey was intended to measure the symptoms of depression and if my participants had been diagnosed with postpartum depression. My participants were recruited via Snapchat and Facebook. I kind of just posted the survey on both of social medias, and I think that is why I had more than what I originally intended on having. I had a lot of diverse women actually take the survey. In my results, um, I actually gathered from the survey questions that postpartum depression is more prevalent in African American women more than other races. I had women. One of my questions on my survey was the race of women. And another point was 14% of the total population of women surveyed had already been clinically diagnosed with postpartum depression by doctors. So they were able to go to the doctor, and the doctor was able to tell them that they indeed had postpartum depression after examining them. My study survey revealed that younger mothers tend to develop postpartum depression more often than older mothers. So that was my goal to see, and it actually is true from the results that I have. There are actually 61.4% of women that had postpartum depression in my survey. As I stated earlier, there was a lot of symptoms, and a couple more of those symptoms are sadness, tearfulness, hopelessness, oversleeping or unable to sleep, or trouble bonding with their baby. A few things from my survey was about 47%. They actually were 25 years or older when they gave birth to their child. About 52% of them were between the ages of 15 and 24, so in their younger years. So basically, I did have a lot of younger women who gave birth to their child. Um, One of my questions in my survey was, have you ever suffered from symptoms of postpartum depression after giving birth? I had about 29%, as you can see here, of them say no, they did not. I had about 60% say yes, they did, which was majority of my women who took the survey. And I had about 10% that just didn't know, that maybe they did, maybe they didn't. because they weren't too sure, what the symptoms were of postpartum depression. Another question I had is, had you ever suffered from symptoms of postpartum depression after giving birth? I had a big number, again, about 60% of them did suffer from symptoms. A 10%, 10% of them did maybe. Um, and 29% of, so about 30 of them. Oh, that is actually the same question. But I also asked, if yes, please select all of the symptoms that applied. So I had about 77% of them. They experienced sadness, tearfulness, or hopelessness. That was a big one for postpartum. I had about 57%. About 54% they overslept, and or they weren't able to sleep after giving birth, and about 53% feeling of worthlessness or guilt. I had a small percent here, which is very good, of thoughts of harming their baby, and that is a big one with postpartum. So in the end, I had pretty good results when it came to my survey. Um, and based upon the results gathered from the survey questions, the less support a mother had from their partner after giving birth, the more likely she was to develop postpartum depression. I actually had a couple questions in my survey about that. I actually had more African American women were at the top of the charts for women who were diagnosed with postpartum depression, because I had a survey question also that had them list, what their race was, because I actually wanted to know that information. So overall, um, that sums it up.